you are about to see is my interpretation of Edinburgh. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it justice, because every time I looked around there was something new to see like that right behind me. It's an incredible city. It's got everything from mad Frankenstein bars to free whiskey tasting to incredible churches, wonderful architecture. It's just an amazing city. So I've put together a collection of my view of Edinburgh that I hope gives you a flavour of it. Wow, look at that building behind me. Look at that, with the full moon. Anyway, I hope you enjoy, and I absolutely totally recommend you visit Edinburgh as soon as you possibly can. It's an amazing city. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you somewhere else sometime soon. Hello everyone, and welcome to the latest of my adventures. I am currently in Edinburgh for a 2-day trip and a look around. Never been here before. Now this may look like an unusual start to the vlog, but this door is really important. This is 129 Rose Street, and this is lovely Rose Street. And apparently in 1830, William McVitie started baking biscuits there, which led to one of the biggest biscuit companies in the world, right here near my Premier Inn on Rose Street. Anyway, I'm going to go and check in. I've got my case and my bread. Yeah, for the next couple of days I will be exploring Edinburgh, and so far what I've seen, I'm just walking around with my mouth open looking at all the buildings. It is a stunning city for architecture, so expect lots of wow, amazing, cool over the course of this vlog. Right, I'm going to go and check in. Well, there's a good thing. You see, I just came out of my room and I'm heading to go and buy a kettle, and 5 minutes around the corner there's a Genting casino. So when I've got my kettle, I know where I'm going on the way back. A very, very pretty little churchyard. Although it's not called a graveyard, it's called a kirkyard, K-I-R-K yard. So I don't know if that's Gaelic or something? I don't know, I'll have to Google it. Anyway, I'm still looking for my kettle and I'm miles outside the city centre. But it's great because I'm exploring all these back streets and finding interesting little shops and restaurants and bakeries. I'm glad that I'm completely lost looking for a kettle. And I found, walking through the city centre, I felt like, I think a lot of people feel like when they go to my favourite place, Las Vegas, I was sort of open-mouthed staring up at things, because the buildings here are so detailed and so grand and spectacular that I'm just kind of whoa the whole time, which I think kind of figured I would be. Anyway, onward for the kettle. But Leith seems very nice, and I've been told there's a historic dockyard just around the corner, so we'll go and investigate that. Oh, this is very lovely. The water of Leith, its walkway and wildside, following the river for 13 miles, is a delightful stroll, enjoying nature. Very lovely it is too. You see, coming looking for a kettle and ending up in Leith was an excellent idea. There's ducks, there's swans. I just met a lovely cat. I think he was domesticated though. But very, very lovely indeed. Cool. Bet those apartments up there aren't cheap. Anyway, this is Leith. Very lovely, to the northeast of Edinburgh. A detour, but a worthwhile one. Here's somewhere very interesting I want to share with everyone. Leith Walk Police Box. They have an Instagram page as well. I was just walking back from Leith into the city centre, and the gentleman said, would you like some free vegetable soup / curry? And it's a community thing, and they're just handing out free soup and free bread and curries. Absolutely wonderful. So look them up on Instagram, and I'm going to enjoy my cauliflower curry. Yum yum. Wow. I know people always tell me off for filming in portrait, but this one you have to film in portrait. This is a monument dedicated to Sir Walter Scott, who was a famous Scottish writer, and it was apparently built in 1844. It's 62 metres high, It's the second highest structure dedicated to an author in the world, and apparently you can walk to the top of the tower. Sorry, that has to be shown in portrait. That is Gothic splendour at its finest. Look at this. It's just on Princes Street near Waverley Station in Edinburgh. Look at that. That is something else. Wow. Edinburgh at night. Oh, whoopsie. Edinburgh at night. Very impressive. Very impressive. Good morning and welcome to the other side of Edinburgh. Yesterday I took a slightly unusual route and was in the northeast corner in Leith to buy a kettle. Here we are looking at the wonderful Edinburgh Castle, which I was going to visit today, but unfortunately it turns out all tickets are sold out and you're supposed to book weeks in advance. So we can still go up there and walk around the outside, but I can't go in. But I just wanted to show you, this is the problem with this city. You could film and take photographs all day long, but you would still not capture all the amazing architecture here. I mean, look at this. This is a Tesco Express. Good Lord. Just the most incredible buildings. Anyway, I am now heading to West End, which is the other side of Edinburgh, because it turns out I can get free tea and coffee at any time. They leave the coffee machine open downstairs, so I don't need the kettle. So I am returning the kettle, but I got it from a pound stretcher shop, and there's another one on this side of town. So I'm now going right across the other side of town. That way I've covered all areas of Edinburgh other than the bit that everyone comes to see, which is the Royal Mile. So we'll do all this first, and there's another casino for me to go to. And then later on, you'll see the bits of Edinburgh that you expect to see. Okay, I'll be back. Still on our walk through the West End side of Edinburgh. I'm somewhere called Galore now. I've just come across another amazing cemetery with another fantastic building at the front. Sorry about the noise, they're cutting trees. This side of town is more, I think it's Georgian, the architecture. Very, very different. What I would say is it's impossible. It's impossible to take photographs of how many beautiful buildings there are and sculptures. There are sculptures everywhere. And what's really good is all over town are these little placards with QR codes on. So they have information about what you're looking at, and then there's QR codes you can scan for more information. Just, it is a fascinating city, and it certainly cannot be covered in 2 days. But on we go through the West End of Edinburgh. Well, here we are finally at the base of Edinburgh Castle, which looks pretty damn cool up there. Look at that building there. Wow. Wow. It looks like there's a lot of people walking up to the castle. Okay, we'll head up there in a minute. But I'm sure there's lots of nice little shops and cafes, as there are everywhere. That is one thing I would say about this city. Any kind of cuisine that you could name, any kind of cuisine that you could name, you will find in Edinburgh. And because there's so many restaurants, the prices are really good. There are millions of places like this, little bistros, like individually owned cafes, bakeries, just so many of them. And as for sort of bars and bars with live music and entertainment, you fall over them all. I mean, there's so many. You would never be stuck for something to do or something to eat or drink in Edinburgh. Anyway, it's time I stop waffling, headed up those stairs, isn't it? Okay, I'll see you at the top. Here we are at the top. Wow, look at that. So apparently down there, that is the Royal Mile. The Royal Mile is the place I'm going to later. Wow, there's people up there on that turret. Look, up there, there were people walking around there. Anyway, that's the Royal Mile down there where I'm going later. But here we are at Edinburgh Castle. Now, as you can see, unfortunately sold out today. But there it is in all its glory. Quite marvellous. And I will return so that I can go inside, because I understand it's well worth it. It takes hours and hours and hours because there's so much to see. But it's good to come up here and get the view. Is that the Firth of Forth? I think they call that water. I don't know. But that's probably where I was yesterday, over at the port, I'm guessing. Yeah, I was over at a port with loads of cranes. Pretty cool view from up here. All the way across the city. And yet another statue. There's always statues. There are statues everywhere. Anyway, we're up here. We can't go in, unfortunately. But next time. So I guess it's time to head back down again. Oh, another observation I was going to make about Edinburgh. If you like gambling, there are 3 main casinos. A lot of people won't like gambling, but I do. There are 2 Genting casinos. One is in Leith on the northeast of the city, and the other one is in the West End, where I just was. And then there is a Grosvenor casino, but that's on the outskirts of the city, so I think you need a car or taxi to get to that. But yeah, something I've noticed, the roads are very, very wide. And it's very strange. People seem to have their own rules for crossing the roads. They don't seem to wait for the traffic signals. And there's very little traffic. You can stand there and no cars will come for like 5 minutes and everyone just wanders across the road. Anyway, once again, some spectacular buildings. Sorry, my love. Spectacular buildings up here. So I'm going to head down to the Royal Mile, have a look, but then I will head down there later when it's all lit up. But this is the view from the top of Edinburgh Castle as the clouds gather. Here we are inside St Giles Cathedral on the Royal Mile. Incredible, absolutely incredible. Amazing vaulted ceilings, fantastic stained glass windows. It's entry by donation. It's a suggested donation of £10. But obviously it's a suggestion, it's up to you. But this is absolutely stunning. All the way up there, the detailing on those stained glass windows. So I'm aware I'm probably talking a bit quietly and it's messing up the audio, but I'm in a church, so I'm trying to be good and respectful. Look at this. Good Lord. Oh, I've seen some churches and cathedrals, but this one is pretty stunning. Look at the organ. Core and flipping neck is about all I can manage. Look at the detailing on the stonework and the stained glass window. Wow. Wow. Unbelievable. Absolutely stunning. All these little separate areas with tombs in them. Sorry, I'm being quiet. It's just there are people, a lot of tourists, but there are people praying. So I'm trying to be respectful. But yeah, St Giles Cathedral, I would say, is well worth popping in and having a little look around. The Royal Mile itself is absolutely, it's lunchtime on a Tuesday in March. It is absolutely rammed solid with tourists. So it's very peoply. I'm not keen on peoply areas. So I will go to the few places that I know will close. But not the whiskey shops, because apparently they stay open until 10 o'clock at night. Good grief, these ceilings are magnificent. Yeah. So I'll have a little roam around and then I'll come back and show you the Royal Mile after dark, because I think that's when it will look absolutely stunning. But for now, St Giles Cathedral on the Royal Mile. Wow. So here is the back of St Giles Cathedral. Absolutely magnificent building. And this is the Royal Mile, which, as you can see, is very full of tourists. But there is somewhere I wanted to tell you about, which is right there, and that's Mary King's Close. And that place, you can only go in with a ticket. There's special tours, but it's full of myths and legends about ghosts. which a lot of which were apparently explained because it was built near a polluted swamp, so there were hallucinations in the past. But yeah, it's guided tours only, and there's various stories about it. Mary King was a prominent businesswoman in the 17th century, and in there is an underground network of streets that have been uninhabited for over 400 years. And it's supposed to be very, very spooky and ghostly. And there are various stories about it. One of them is plague victims were sealed in there, but I've read that's not actually true. But yeah, next time I come, again, there's too much to fit in. I will go on a guided tour in there because it looks amazing. Mary King's Close on the Royal Mile, which is very beautiful. Crikey, that's a pretty impressive entrance to a museum, isn't it? And yes, it's free to come in. So let's go and have a look around. Wow, just come up on the first level of the National Museum of Scotland. And appears to be an aeroplane on the wall. But wow, look at this. Oh my God, I can hear a clock chiming. Is that over here? This is pretty impressive. Oh wow, look at this. Obviously I need to go around and read what the hell these things are, but this looks like the jawbone of some, I have no idea what. It is a washed up whale, 15 metres long, weighing nearly 40 tonnes, beached on Easter Monday 1997. Wow, look at the size of that thing. Good grief. Okay, this is a very, very large museum that I think would need hours to explore. So I'll have a brief look around. But yeah, I'm starting to feel like if you come to Edinburgh, you probably need at least 5 or 6 days to see everything here. Unbelievable. I'm guessing that's part of a lighthouse. Would you say that's part of a lighthouse? Indeed it is. It's the lighthouse lens, designed in 1889. Whoa. Anyway, Museum of Scotland, very impressive. I must make a donation on my way out. I'll see as much as I can, but time is limited, and it seems to be crammed full of stuff. Good Lord. Do you know what that is? That's very, very, very famous. That's Dolly the sheep, which is the first mammal cloned. Oh my God. That's actually Dolly the sheep in a room full of fighter planes. And what the heck is that? Is that a rocket? What the heck is that? Okay, this needs further investigation. My apologies for lack of research. Everything in here is enormous. Absolutely enormous. Steam engine. So what the heck is this over here? Okay, we need to find out what this is. There's balloons going up and down. This is definitely a rocket. I don't know what rocket. What is this? The Black Knight rocket. It's designed to study what happens when a vehicle re-enters the atmosphere. Launched from Australian desert in 1958. Whoa. Look at that. Blimey. This place is fascinating. Wow. It's a spacesuit. You can go and stand in it and put your face in it. There you go. This is a cool place. Wow. Sorry, I know I keep saying wow, but this museum is something else. There's like recreations of how people used to live. Look at this thing. Everything in here is absolutely flipping enormous. And this was a rare surviving example of an atmospheric or Newcomen engine used to pump water from coal mines. And they seem to be recreating little huts of how people lived. There's rooms with artifacts. There's rooms with the history of fashion and weaving in Scotland. I'll tell you what, if you come to Edinburgh, come into this museum. It's absolutely incredible. It's on Chambers Street near the Royal Mile. And like I say, it's donations, but it looks like you could spend hours in here. And once again, something amazing. Look at that. That is possibly the oldest surviving colour television in the world. Wow, this place is absolutely unreal. I know I've put lots of clips, but I haven't even, as with all of Edinburgh, I haven't even scratched the surface. There's an amazing amount to see here. I'm a bit stunned at this point, and I'm going to the cemetery. This is the reason I wanted to come to Greyfriars Cemetery. Greyfriars Bobby was a dog. He was famous, so when his master died, he came and sat on his grave every day for 14 years. And there's a statue dedicated to him. Fabulous. Tell you what, lovely building as well. Again, absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. Yes, we're in another graveyard. Do you know what? I've filmed so much, I'm virtually out of battery. And I still have to go to the Frankenstein bar later and walk down the Royal Mail after... Royal Mail. I keep saying Royal Mail, not Royal Mile. Maybe it's because I just did a free whiskey tasting. But yeah, we're going to have to come to the Frankenstein bar after dark when we do the Royal Mile, because my battery, for the first time ever, is virtually out because I've had so much to film. So I'll see you later. See this grave that has this on top of it? It's an explanation that it's an iron mort safe that was put over it to prevent grave robbing. There we are. Well, I know you've seen a lot of graveyards in this vlog, and I've been to a lot of graveyards in my time. Wow, there's a skull and crossbones on that one. But this is one hell of an impressive graveyard. There are some stunning tombs here. Absolutely stunning. And if I had more battery, I'd show you more. But you will just have to visit Greyfriars Kirk and Greyfriars Kirkyard for yourself. Wow. I am desperately trying to make my way back to my hotel and preserve my battery so that I have a map. But every time I turn a corner, I see something else that's amazing. This is somewhere called Victoria Street near the Royal Mile. Right, I can absolutely confirm that 2 days in Edinburgh is nowhere near enough. So that is something I showed you yesterday. And behind it, there's gardens you can walk through. Right there is the Museum on the Mound, which is also free entry. There's a National Gallery over here that is free entry. I haven't even been to, there's other places, Arthur's Seat, there's a beach that's like a short bus ride away called Portobello Beach, and I am running out of time, but I know I probably haven't done it justice, but I think if you did a vlog about 10 hours long, you'd never get in everything that's in Edinburgh. It's amazing. Later on I will be back and show you the Royal Mile after dark and the Frankenstein bar, and that will wrap it up. Right, I've just got back to my room to charge my battery, having been out for over 6 hours. And as I said, I don't think I've even scratched the surface. But one thing I have noticed all over Edinburgh are cannolis, which I've never actually had before. So I went into one of the bakeries and asked the guy, and apparently there's a huge Italian population here. So I figured I should try. They also do home-baked croissants with vanilla cream filling. That is a cannoli. One end is vanilla, the other end is Nutella cream, and that is a traditional ricotta cannoli. So I figured I should try them all. So it seems that the same as the English have adopted chicken tikka masala as our national dish, the people of Edinburgh have adopted cannolis. So, for the first time ever, I'm going to try one, and I'm sure they're going to be delicious. I know I said the next thing I was going to do was go to the Frankenstein bar and the Royal Mile after dark, but walking down there I came upon this, St James Quarter. It's almost opposite Waverley train station off Princes Street. I should also say, when you come out at Waverley station, there's a big 2 or 3 level shopping centre there. But this is level 2 of St James Quarter. If you like shopping, I think you're well served here. Look at this place. So when I came out of the train station to get to my hotel, I turned left. If I turned right, there's this huge multi-level, semi-open air shopping centre, which is open till 8 o'clock at night. So if you like shopping, as well as if you like food, if you like bars, if you like history, if you like archaeology, Edinburgh is the place for you. Hello! Still making my way to the Royal Mile and the Frankenstein pub, but I figured I still had time before the sunset to come up here to something, sorry about the wind, Calton Hill. I'll stop talking because you can't hear me. There we go. Yeah, views all the way across Edinburgh, in my opinion, better than the views from the castle. This is a very strange place. It was apparently a volcanic mountain, and up here are several monuments. This is one of them, the Dugald Stewart Monument, who was apparently a writer or a playwright. And then there's a huge set of arches over there that I believe is the Scottish National Monument. There's also a Nelson Monument, which I'm guessing maybe that one there, thinking of Nelson's column. And I have no idea what that one is. But it's just at the far, I suppose it must be the east end of town. And it's just this sort of random hill. There's a hidden set of stairs and you come up and all this is up here. It's completely bonkers. Completely bonkers. I love it. Everywhere you go in Edinburgh there's something. Look, you can see the sea over there. So I didn't actually get to the beach, but I can see the sea after all. Right, let's go and explore these other monuments. Still up Calton Hill, which I should point out, if you came out of Edinburgh's Waverley Station and turned right, it's about 10 minutes walk away, and all you can see is like a monument on top of it, and sort of the stairs are hidden. But you come up here and it turns out that this is Hume Walk, which was one of the first public walking routes to be created in Britain, named in honour of the philosopher David Hume. Oh my god, this place is absolutely bonkers. Look at it. Pretty cool at sunset as well. Absolutely incredible. Just tucked at the sort of, I suppose you'd say it's the east end of town. Was that some sort of huge, is that a mountain? Well, apparently all of these were volcanic mountains. Look at that. That's pretty damn cool. Wow. That is the Scottish National Monument, built in the 1820s. To commemorate Scottish soldiers who died during the Napoleonic Wars, and it's modelled on Greek neoclassical style, which I think we can tell. I've never come across anything quite like this. This is so bizarre. Just sort of stuck at the east end of town. I'll find out what these other things are and I'll be back. So this says the Contemporary Arts Centre housed in a historic and historic. Shouldn't it be an historic observatory? Number of buildings, old and new, for you to explore. Hillside and City Dome galleries play host to a programme of changing exhibitions. The City Observatory houses our shop, and more information about our site, or you wander about and enjoy the view. Absolutely insane. I love it. Well, there we go. Apparently, Calton Hill was formed by volcanic activity 340 million years ago. Good Lord, what a place. What an incredible place. Back on the Royal Mail. Why do I keep saying Royal Mail? Royal Mail at night, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And we're back at St Giles Cathedral, and we have found what we were looking for, which is this. This is the heart of Midlothian. This is what we were looking for. So now, if you would excuse me one moment, I have to spit on it. There! Yes, you think I'm disgusting, don't you? No, no, no. For you see, this used to be the entrance to a jail where people were horribly tortured. And so it was the disdain for the prison that people used to spit on it. But now it's considered good luck to spit on the heart of Midlothian. So there we are. There's the monument, there's St Giles, and there is the heart of Midlothian. Okay, what you are about to see is an hourly spectacle of Frankenstein's monster coming out. in this pub, which is built inside, I think it's a 19th century former church. It's excellent. And there's a full moon over there. Can hear cackling going on in there already.